Hello and welcome to our second webinar, Finding Unicorns in Estonia. My name is Maris Prii, and along with my colleague Alvar, we will be your hosts today. My background is heavily in operations, corporate governance, and early stage investments. And here in the US, I represent the Estonian Investment Agency. With base in San Francisco, my goal is simple: to be the spokesperson for Estonia's digital society, its business environment, and its startup scene, as well as to promote foreign direct investments to Estonia. I have been deeply involved with our startup ecosystem for much of my career, among other things being the CEO of Startup Wise Guys, the biggest accelerator program in Europe now, as well as pushing for the development and helping launch the Estonian Startup Visa program. Over to you, Alvar.
Hi, I'm Alvar Soosaar, and I serve as Director for US Investment and Trade in the Business Diplomacy area of Estonia's Foreign Ministry, based out of the embassy in Washington. I came to this role last year after a 25+ year career in capital markets and investment management, and I'm excited to put my experience and contacts to work on behalf of my parents' country of origin. Estonia has a number of compelling business opportunities, which over this seminar series, as you saw some last time, we will help introduce you to. But first, we thought it would be helpful to talk a little bit about Estonia's place on the world stage. We have a population of 1.3 million, somewhere between Montana and Maine. We are in Northern Europe, an area with an area of nearly 17,500 square miles, putting it somewhere between Maryland and West Virginia in terms of size. Finland is to our north, Sweden to our west, Russia to our east, and Latvia to our south. We are part of the European Union and the Eurozone, part of NATO, part of the OSCE, and we currently hold a seat on the UN Security Council. Our business climate is decidedly Scandinavian, but is combined with a low cost of doing business, a very business-friendly tax structure. Taxes are just one example of Estonia's government, 99% of whose services are available online.
So innovation is everywhere in Estonia. In addition to being the world's first digital country, our economy is highly export-oriented. Estonia has a 2-decade track record of successful innovation and investment that have delivered outstanding returns both for our founders and investors. And given the size of the population, Estonian startups have to have a born global mentality from the very beginning. And here's a quick overview of the achievements in the past year. So Estonia gained our 5th, 6th, and 7th unicorn, and we currently hold the most unicorns per capita in the EU and 2nd place in the world. The turnover of startups is marked by a robust increase of nearly 50% versus 2020. Together with the increased number of investments done so far, the total amount of investments is on a clear path of 1 billion euro by the end of the year. In 2021, 600 million euros was raised by Bolt, but another 7 investments were made in August alone, most of them in 7-figure sums.
So today we'll have a number of guests from the Estonian VC sector, beginning with the Executive Director of the Estonian Venture Capital Association, Kadri Lindpere, who will provide a brief overview of the current ecosystem and its roots. She will be followed by several fund managers who will introduce their investment funds and strategies. Please provide any questions in the Q&A section below, and we will endeavor to answer them at the end. If we do run out of time, we will provide answers via email. Kadri?
Yes, thanks, guys. So I will also put a few slides on. So hope everybody can see. You can nod, maybe, Maris. Okay, great. I am the Managing Director of Estonian Venture Capital and Private Equity Association. And we currently hold 53 market players as members, so different funds, family offices, as well as institutional investors and associate members being members of our association. Here is a quick slide about the Estonian startup ecosystem, which is very tightly related to our VC community and VC funds that we are representing mostly in our association. So as Maris already mentioned, there are 7 unicorns, which is the second per capita of unicorns in the world. We have over 1,100 startups who have raised over 1.6 billion euros in funding. And I will move forward with more interesting facts maybe. So this is the list of our 7 unicorns, where we've stated also the time it took for them to become unicorns. I will also share these slides later with you, so you can kind of dig into them if you wish later on. But as we all have our 5 minutes, so I won't stay on that slide for too long. So STVCA, our association in numbers, so we were founded in 2009. As said, we have 53 members, and the assets under management currently is 2.4 billion euros. Portfolio companies and employees that our funds engage is also stated on this slide. And a little bit about the statistics too. Our venture capital funds overview, above the line, I've stated the ones that are included in the 2020 statistics. Their assets under management was a bit over 3 million euros. And under the line are some of the new funds that have joined us after that period. So they're not included in the statistics, but they're proud members, and we are proud to have them as members. Perot Jane being one US VC fund that also joined us recently. And there's also a table format for you to maybe dig into a bit later, which is then the venture capital funds overview currently on our market in Estonian funds. Then there's private equity and mezzanine funds overview. So we have 4 big players with assets under management being a bit over 600 million euros. And also the same is presented in a table format. So for anyone interested in digging deeper here, this will be shared with you later on. So a bit about assets under management, about the growth it has shown over the years. So professional funds currently, and we have taken out the real estate funds, which are also some of them bigger ones being our members. So private equity venture capital funds have a bit over 900 million under management currently in Estonia. And the investment activity by the end of 2020, in 2020 was then 90 million was invested by private equity venture capital funds, and almost 300 million by all our members. As mentioned, there are also family offices and other forms of investors under our roof. So we've brought out here the number of, as you're seeing, VC funds today. So I brought out the number here as well. And 2020 was also a very active year of divestments. So we saw altogether 19 divestments from our members, and 15 of those by professional funds. So to say a bit about funds in general, being a relatively young market, we're seeing now very good exits, and also funds raising second and third rounds funds. So definitely, and also like a spillover effect of founders now becoming investors on the market. So definitely a momentum in Estonia now, if you're interested in investing and investing together and into our investors on the market, it's definitely a place to look for. And this is our management board, just as a slide for you to remember the faces. So you can later kind of contact anyone if you're interested in kind of learning more. So this is all from my side. Thank you. Would be great to get in touch. So reach out if I can help in any way.
Thank you, Kadri. Next up, we have Andris Berzins from Change Ventures. Andris, please share your screen.
Unmute. So now hopefully you see it and you hear me. Very good. So welcome everyone. Delighted to talk to a lot of investors from the US. We are a seed fund registered in Estonia, investing across all 3 Baltic states, so also Latvia and Lithuania. And Maris already introduced why Estonia is great. We think the whole region is amazing, and the sort of the comparison we make is with Israel, which I used to run marketing biz dev for a US Israeli startup, spent a lot of time there. This is very similar now in terms of the tech talent, the concentration, and the born global startups that are building global businesses from early days. And so we are focused, we're a regional seed fund focused on this region, meeting founders very early and investing at seed and pre-seed in companies before they raise their A rounds and scale their businesses into the rest of the world. So I have 2 Estonian partners. All 3 of us are ex-operators. I'm a Stanford Business School graduate who then spent about 15 plus years in various startups in the US, UK, and the Baltic states. 2 of those have exits across over 100 million worth. And together with my partners who are also ex-entrepreneurs, we set up this fund and have been investing now from the second fund. We're halfway through the second fund. Our companies have been raising follow-on rounds from a number of top investors around the world. And the first fund, which is doing well, still early days, but is doing well, has several likely fund returners, such as a startup called Interactio from Lithuania that just raised 31 million A round. So that's doing very well. And we're actually both investing and still finishing fundraising for the second fund. So we will end up at the 50 million euro hard cap, and right now are doing a third close, and we'll do a final close before the end of the year. Our backers in this second fund, the anchor is European Investment Fund. We have a pension fund, a number of successful Silicon Valley VCs, most recently including Tim Draper, who just joined, and a number of other investors who we also make investments with. We've been backing a number of the success stories from the region. Verif is probably the one that's best known, where we joined a recent round, and look forward to the success of the region and any investors who want to get exposure to early stage investments across the Baltic states. So happy to answer any questions, or if time's run out, then hand over to the next person.
Thank you, Andris. Margus from Karma Ventures. Please go ahead and share your screen.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Margus, founding partner at Karma Ventures, and also currently chairman for Estonian Venture Capital Association. So Karma Ventures is deep tech fund for European early stage startups. And our strategy is very simple. It's deep tech software, it's late seed and Series A, and we invest all over Europe. And then, of course, our key focus area is Baltic countries, Estonia as a main one, Latvia, Lithuania, but also Nordic, Germany, Poland, and rest of Europe. Why actually we like deep tech? Europe has for many years complained a bit about the exit opportunities, that there is no good exit market for European startups. But deep tech we have seen for many years having exit opportunities in all phases, from seed to really growth and later stage. Our experience, we have 13 years experience in venture. We started in Ambient Sound Investments, which is Skype founding engineers family office. Our initial strategy was global. We had investments in US, in Asia, Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, but also Russia, UK, France, and so on, mostly deep tech and seed phase. We launched Karma One, a spin-off from Ambient Sound Investments, in 2016. And the fund size has been 70 million euros. Skype founding engineers as cornerstone investors, pension funds, fund of funds, family offices. And in Karma 1, we have focused on Europe, deep tech, seed and Series A. And at the moment, as we speak, we are launching also Karma 2, and we keep doing exactly the same strategy: Europe, deep tech, seed and Series A. Target fund size is 100 million euros. We have incredibly good support from Karma 1 investors. Almost all investors are joining Karma 2 as well. So deep tech might mean many things. What do we mean with deep tech? In one side, you have commodity tech that everybody can build. Usually, there are great opportunities, but it's very competitive market. Usually, the pricing is more in the commodity area. And the other end, you see visionary tech. So brain-computer interfaces, quantum computing, and so on. That's not fully developed yet. Some of the technologies, in some cases, the market is not ready yet. There can be great exits, a bit lower exit probabilities. They are a bit more difficult to validate. We focus on pioneering tech that few can build. We have seen very good exit track record in this segment. We are very good to validate this type of deep tech companies through advisory networks, through our own experience, always through very strong global customer references. And the teams and the technology itself has value at any point of time. So in Karma 1, our team has been 4 key people. We have experience from global corporates, like senior roles in Nokia, ST Microelectronics, ST Ericsson. We have a lot of management experience, HR experience, finance experience. And I think our team has done more than 20 exits over our VC career, and mostly to US listed companies, some to European, as well to Japanese. We're also backed by a strong technology advisory board. Sky founding engineers Ahti Heinla and Jan Tallinn are our technology advisors, as well as Edgar Auslander, who is leading Facebook Oculus VR AR research. Jani Hooponen, who is in YouTube leading streaming infrastructure. Sergei Yanikin, who is leading Pipedrive as CTO and interim CEO. And Till Kwak, former founder, very strong in computer vision, sold his company to Qualcomm, later worked in Apple, and currently in Facebook. From Fund 1, we have completed already 4 exits. We sold Plumber to Splunk, Trademark Now to Corsearch, AppGyver to SAP, and super happy to announce that today we announced the trade sale of Spectix to Trinatrace. So it's a really good day for Estonia, our deep tech community, and of course to our LPs as well. We have active portfolio of 12 companies at the moment. 3 of them have closed B rounds. And as you can see, 5 of them are just starting to raise 10 to 30 million B rounds. They're coming from computer vision, emotional analytics, fintech like AML software, core banking software, health tech, as well as audio-based security solutions. So there's definitely the reason to be in touch if any of the opportunities might be of interest. Thank you so much. Happy to stay in contact.
Thank you, Margus. There's a great bit of news there. Next up, we have Siena Secondary Fund. Please, Rando, please share your screen if you're sharing something.
Hello, greetings from my side. I hope you can see the screen now. So we're a bit different animal in the crowd of VCs in the region. We have built the first VC fund that focuses on secondary deals in Estonia and the bordering regions. So what's the problem? The problem is about early founders and employees, early investors, not having the liquidity. The time for exit is getting longer and longer. 15 years ago, it might have been 5 to 7 years. Nowadays, it's usually 10 to 15 years. In the Valley, for ages, the VC community considered secondary deals as a kind of a gray market, but this is tending to be kind of a change, and kind of naming Steve Jurvetson or Dave McClure, who stepped into the secondary market themselves. So the problem is actually twofold. So one is the early backers of the startups who don't have the liquidity and means to motivate the employees or living from paycheck to paycheck. Or the other side is the investors who have missed the great companies and they want to get into the on board as well, and they want to kind of diversify the portfolio, having a lot of angel investments, but angel tickets, but then they don't kind of manage to get into the later stage, because the later stage deals are usually quite big, with quite big tickets. So the solution is creating a startup secondary fund. Basically, what we're doing, we are eliminating the J curve in the startup financing cycle and focusing on the kind of a later stage where the companies have the business model in place, they're growing nicely, their exit potential is usually 3 to 5 years time, and they have raised A round or even a B or C round. We're looking at mainly deals from the Baltics and the Finland, but we can do deals from rest of Nordics and CE as well. We're doing purely direct secondary deals, so we don't buy any fund portfolios or LP stakes. We do the cherry picking. We want to kind of see the best of the best, and we always aim to get a discount from the deals. So why secondaries? It has an excellent track record. It has historically shown better median IRR, and it has kind of shown a good downside protection as well. I mean, for example, comparing to the global PE VC kind of a standard, where it's almost 20 times lower risk of not returning the money to the LPs. And why the region? Well, like everybody has said already, Estonia and the neighboring countries, we are the kind of a startup hub of Europe. There's unicorns popping up almost every month. And there's the kind of a nice logos that you have probably seen already from our region. So again, why Baltics and Finland? This is a kind of a untapped market. There have been a lot of active angels, a lot of early stage funds. Some of them are reaching the end of the life cycle. There is very limited liquidity possibilities. But if you look at the kind of startups, we have more than 100 late stage mature startups that could fit the portfolio. There is a lot of good companies in the pipeline, and we have already closed our first deal. We started out this year, and this year we did our first deal in Bolt, equivalent to Uber. And this has been a good investment. In less than 6 months, we doubled the value. The team is good. I myself, I have the startup background with a successful exit, and I joined with due investment backers who have done deals over more than 20 years. And supporting with a good back office as well. Some numbers about the fund. So we are aiming 25 million euros. 10 to 12 deals, and targeting 3 to 5x money back. And that's about it. If you have questions, feel free to reach out, and then let's talk about.
Thank you, Rando. That was great. Next up, we have Doug Hainshaw from Startup Wise Guys. Doug, can you share your screen, please?
Do you see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So my name is Doug Hainshaw, and I'm excited to introduce you Startup Wise Guys Ventures funds. In short, Startup Wise Guys is a leading accelerator fund in Europe. and it's founded in Estonia in 2012. We have invested in over 220 companies to date with top-tier fund returns. Our first fund has actually returned already all the money to the investors and currently has a 7.93x multiple. So our mission is to help founders to become entrepreneurs and build great international sustainable companies. Based on the numbers, we are on the strong path to become the Y Combinator of Europe. Our investment thesis is to invest in the strongest technical B2B founders in the region we call New Europe, and do it very early on, and then speed their growth through our accelerator program. We nurture the pre-MVP teams through our online pre-accelerator. We have 400 startups who have gone through our pre-accelerator in 2 years. And additionally, we scout 1,000 plus startups per year. We select on average 10 startups per batch to invest and provide intense training in business development, sales, fundraising, international expansion through accelerator program. We make follow-on investments in winning teams coming from the accelerator, as well as direct seed investments in the best teams we see outside the accelerator. We are the oldest European accelerator, and for years we have been the only international player in the region. And this has given us enormous lead in the deal flow and also scouting, as our brand is quite well known in the region. And this is our winning formula. We are values driven, we have unique deal flow, we invest early, and we have a top-notch accelerator program. And this gives us high return and also high impact. And our results show that it works. Our first fund has 7.93x multiple and has returned all the money back to the investors. Based on current estimations, the eventual return of the fund might be well over 10x. Overall, we have invested in 235 startups in 45 plus nationalities. We have invested about 9.5 million euros, mainly in 4 verticals: software as a service, fintech, cyber, sustainability. And yeah, our general partners are all entrepreneurs. We have founded and exited companies. We work together as a close-knit team with HQ in Tallinn. We also have offices in Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and Italy, and have boots in the ground in Ukraine, Russia, Turkey, Czech Republic, Spain, and Denmark. We currently have 3 main active funds. Challenger 1 is our current flagship fund. It's an 8 million euro fund, which is almost fully subscribed. Challenger fund strategy is to invest in all accelerator companies and do follow-on investments, plus make also direct investments in the best companies we see in the region outside the accelerator. Initiated in 2019, and it will stop investing end of this year. Even though it's early, the fund return currently is 1.3x, and we have some amazing startups in the portfolio. Opportunity Fund 1 is a new fund that will invest only in the outperforming companies from existing WiseGuys portfolio. The thesis is to do preemptive investments in the companies that we see are breaking out, and also the companies that are doing the follow-on rounds where we have pro rata rights from our primary fund. The risk profile of the Opportunity Fund is a bit different than Challenger, as we invest later stage with higher valuations, but we only invest in the companies that have good traction, plus we have a strong inside knowledge of these companies. So we expect their loss rate also much smaller than in the Challenger fund. The expected fund size is 6 to 10 million, which 3 million has been currently raised. And finally, we are initiating Challenger 2 fund that will start investing from 2022 onwards. We are about to start fundraising for this fund, and the plan is to raise 20 to 30 million euros. And Challenger 2 will continue the same strategy as Challenger 1, but in the bigger scale. Please reach out to me via email if you are interested or have further questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doug. That was great. Next, we have Andrus from Terra Ventures. Please share your screen. And
hey, my name is Andrus. I'm founding partner of Terra Ventures. We are Estonian seed funds. We also cover New Nordics. Estonia is the home market. Most of our deals will be here. We are one of the top performing funds actually globally. And yeah, currently investing from our second 45 million euro fund. And let me share a bit of history here. So yeah, we've been doing this for 13 years. And when I started back then, the international investors didn't really pay attention to Estonia. And obviously this was a difficult situation because where to get the money to actually grow the portfolio companies. And just before that, I had my own startup, and I actually failed to raise from Silicon Valley. And this was exactly 13 years ago. So obviously I blamed the financial crisis. Yeah, and early in my investor career, so I was frustrated because I didn't succeed to fundraise from the US. But on the other hand, I realized that that's where the money actually is, and value-adding investors and market opportunities as well. So I started doing such deals that I thought that okay, maybe I can syndicate with US investors, and yeah, as I said back then, nobody really had done it here in Estonia. So luckily, one of my early investments, a company called Crabcat, they went to Techstars Boston, and during the program actually raised from Matrix Partners, Atlas Ventures, Nextview Ventures, and Charles River joined that Series B. So
Andrus?
Yeah, this gave us the confidence that we can do something like that, and yeah, by now we've built a proper portfolio and a playbook around this, and yeah, the great logos that you can see here, these are our syndicate partners who have invested.
I think we're having some trouble with Andrus' signal. I'm wondering maybe we can, and I think he may have just dropped off. Lina, are you able to start your presentation right away?
Yeah, and then if he finds internet again.
Yeah, he'll come on after you.
Okay, sounds good. 1 second, let me share my screen. Okay, so hello, my name is Lina, and I'm the founding partner at the Better Fund. We're an early stage impact fund focused on the Central and Eastern European region, and we're a bit of a newcomer in the Estonian BCC. So here's how and why it started. So there was a tipping point for me last year when the OECD released data on the gender pay gap in Europe. And as Estonians, we like to be the first. So we're topping the charts as the highest gender pay gap in Europe, with women getting paid 21% less than men. So when I started looking into it, the issue seems to trickle down from the funding level, and it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The women don't get the funding to scale their business, and therefore they don't hire women for leading positions. Young girls don't see leaders in society, and therefore they don't even dream to become one. And the issue isn't only in Estonia, of course. So in the total Central and Eastern Europe, only 1% of the VC funding went to companies founded by women. And in fact, 95% went to all male-led teams. So, however, turns out that diverse teams bring 2 times return on investment versus only male-led teams. So the lack of investments in diverse teams is hindering both economic growth and equality in society as well. So there we have it. We decided that we're going to fix this issue. And what we are going to do is we will invest in diverse teams that are tackling big issues. And we're looking for scalable solutions to problems that are so big that they keep the founders up at night. And we're looking for the founders that are in the right place at the right time, with a team that fits like a glove and that have that special something that just can't be ignored. And when it comes to industry, we focus on ESG investments. We're looking for tech that's solving big issues in society. We're looking for health and wellness, environment, and education. Our geographical focus is Central and Eastern Europe. As we've all mentioned, that this really is the place to be. The Baltics, but the wider Central and Eastern Europe is really developing fast. The investment checks go much further, and the talent is already here, but there's limited access to capital. So to sum up, who are we? So currently our dream team, there's 6 of us, 3 partners, myself. My background is mainly from startups. I've been working with startups from all stages, from scruffy early stage to unicorns, Hit BTC, Black Insurance, and Deal, to name a few. And my goal is to back role models for future generations and to help build a balanced economy where my son and daughter are both paid equally. And the other 2 partners, we have Ruit. She's been in finance for over a decade. In Swedbank, she was one of the partners of one of the biggest funds in the Baltics, already mentioned before by Kadri, called Baltcap. And she was also running investments for our largest supermarket chains. And she's the lady who was one of the role models for some of today's highest achieving women in the startups in our region. And we have Fahim with a long background in private equity and investment banking. He started his career at Bear Stearns and went to manage investments in health and education at Abraj Group. And currently he's also been investing in highest end restaurants in the Middle East. And then we have the 3 superstars, Jana, Liisi, and Andrea. Jana has been running an incubator fund called Prototron, which has invested in 88 early stage teams and have up to this date raised over 45 million in investments. And she's also currently a PhD candidate researching ESG topics and the influence of politics in ecosystem, deep tech, and nature sciences. Liisi is our connector. She has been at Startup Estonia, which is our government arm, and she knows what startups need and where to find them. and she's been involved in many startup accelerators as well as working in education. And lastly, Andrea. Andrea has spent his time at Cambridge Associates. He's currently finishing his CFA program and has degrees from finance and investment banking with distinction. So we are all here to support the mission of bringing equality and also bringing the highest returns for our investors to encourage all of the other funds to invest in diverse teams as well. So yeah, there we have it. Investing in diverse teams is not a charity, it's a sound business decision, and I'm happy to talk more on that, so please get in touch.
Thank you, Lina. Andrus, are you ready to come back on?
Sure, yeah. Sorry about this. So, yeah, as mentioned, we have by now succeeded getting many of those absolute top brand names, international investors invested into our portfolio companies after us, and mostly actually East Coast, but some in London as well. And perhaps what is special about us, we've done many deals with Japanese investors, mostly at portfolio company level, but two of them are actually invested in our fund as well. And we have several other sort of strategic investors in our fund who are helping portfolio companies and sometimes even deal flow companies. Our team of 6, 3 founding partners all have significant previous entrepreneurial track records. We've all been obviously investing for quite some time as well. Our junior team, the 2 ladies, also quite substantial and international VC experience, and we have a homegrown star as well, Enrique, who started as intern actually just quite recently. So what do we actually do? So we have this hands-on high conviction model, and we apply it here locally. We are generalists. We obviously appreciate seed stage because, well, we think that anything later should be internationally competitive already. We've been usually actually the first investor. We are sector agnostic. We're accepting all hardware risk. Sometimes we even like it. The main theme is AI machine learning, and we've been investing in this more than a decade before it was a hype. The other point is that, well, as we are hands-on, some of our portfolio companies mature, we get to learn about their respective industries. For that reason, we like fintech, automation, a few others. And we do specifically target also international and diverse teams, and these have been performing the best as well. So essentially all traditional VC really, and obviously what really makes us tick is well, we want to help our portfolio companies as much as we can, and always looking for new opportunities to do that. And while we were fundraising for the current fund, we discovered that we can actually add value when we talk to the right kind of LPs. It can be really synergetic because some of the LPs indeed are interested to collaborate with portfolio companies. And this can be direct investments, this can be commercial collaborations, this can be buying companies as well. And this can actually be market insights as well. So somebody mentioned here Estonia is the most digitally advanced nation. Yeah, obviously it's interesting to see, well, what do we have here, right? So essentially it's like looking into the future, and we're enabling that. So we have been quite successful with our fundraise. So some of our well, the setup of our LPs is certainly exceptional. We are, obviously mostly still regional, mostly from New Nordics, and many of them are adding value. But we do have 3 LPs from the US. The most notable one is Perot Jane, Texas-based major player, and this collaboration also means, well, soft landing opportunities for our portfolio companies and deal flow companies, and they've already invested into one of our deals together with us. And we have another US-based investor who already has also invested into one of our portfolio companies. So this model works. It's still early days. These guys actually came on board just early this year, but it's already clear traction. And as I said, 2 very notable LPs from Japan as well. And the best example is Mistletoe, one of the largest Japanese companies. And again, these guys essentially present a soft landing opportunity in Japan and Asia as well. So to sort of wrap it up, we've created this network and a playbook how to actually help portfolio companies to go essentially anywhere. And indeed, this collaboration with strategic LPs who are here for longer term, who are interested to actually help and then see into the future. This is helpful for everyone. This is, I think, one of the new things that will keep happening in future funds as well. More of those investors who are more hands-on will be closer to us, and we are very well geared towards catering that interest.
Thank you, Andrus. Taavi Leppmets, Trend Ventures.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I think I have to wait for Andrus to stop.
No, you should be able to push. You should be able to bump him.
Okay. All right. Do you have it now?
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks, Alvar, and thanks, Maris, for organizing this. It's nice to be able to present. So I'll try to be as quick as possible, knowing that we're running a little bit out of time. So I guess we all listen to the podcast at double speed, so I'll try to do the same. So we are working on our vintage 22 at the moment. We've been a VC in the region for almost 20 years, and just in summary, like we're looking for 50 million for this vintage. It's coming about 2/3 from our existing investors, but we're always happy to see new ones as well. And actually, we've never had any US investors, so we've always been local, and in fact we are ourselves the 3rd largest investors in our fund. So historically, our returns have been about 9 times and net basically, and 25% of our cases have been 10x. Our strategy is mostly consumer facing, smaller tickets, consumer as B2B. And we do very staged investing. So we start with quite small tickets, but go up a little bit higher. And of course, our main office is in Estonia, but we also have an office in Helsinki, and I'm actually based in Munich in Germany. But Estonia is clearly our key market. So the vintage we are currently investing from is 2018, and that's kind of 60% invested. So it's 30% reserved. So in reality, we are kind of ending with that one in the end of the year. And our 3-year gross IRR there has been 22%. So it's not great, of course, but it's also like it's only the 3rd year. So we're still doing like the very, very early tickets there and haven't. So hopefully that will improve. But maybe a slide which could be of interest to you in the US as well is a little bit, that's actually EIF statistics. So EIF is the biggest venture fund investor in Europe. It's our hope how to catch up with the US and maybe even overtake at some point with tech investing. So here you see the VC fund statistics, basically because they see all the funds. Then you can see that the asset class has been a bit of a dog in the early 2000s. I mean, the reason why it's why there's no later data is because these funds are kind of fully exited, right? So and in Europe the average, I think the median fund life is actually 15 years. So you can't. I guess we may have 2010 now, But so we have with our vintages 2000 and 2005, we have been in the top quartile. So what we do is we invest pretty early. We don't do that many investments as some of the startup wise guys. Our first ticket is about 300,000. We try to get a seat at the table and kind of work with the company from there on. So we invest in about 8 companies per year only. And so what we really are doing is kind of managing information asymmetry, as you well know. So it's when we screen almost 3,000 deals a year, and our first ticket is just a very small part of what we plan to invest, and 75% of our investments invested capital actually goes into A rounds. What has worked for us before? Mostly direct to consumer, communities, classifieds. I mean, these logos probably don't mean anything to you, but Odnoklassniki used to be the Russian Facebook. Basically, it's still part of the Mail.ru, which is listed in Russia, or sorry, in London. Then we did a fair bit of classifieds. These we actually sold to Naspers, but now they are listed as a Baltic Classifieds Group. But we've done several others as well, and so we like this kind of more granular kind of client-based cases. So yeah, these are some of the bullets. Consumer-facing communities, also consumers B2B, like kind of small ticket B2B things like that. We have skin in the game, so we own about 15% of the fund. We expect we'll invest a substantial part of this vintage too. And also our advisors are normally co-investors, so we don't really have too much fee-paying people around. Well, our network, yeah, it's mostly Nordics, Estonia, and we co-invested with over 100 angels, 30 funds. Track record, maybe quickly, these are the vintages. So the first one was 9.7x net, 2005 9.4, 2018 we're currently investing, so that's still kind of ongoing. And as you can see, like there haven't been so many investments, like just 7 in the beginning. We started with 3.5 million euros, so like kind of like $4 million basically. And so we've kind of doubled the investment size every vintage. And our current vintage 2018 is actually 23 million. So something from our current portfolio, from the 2018 vintage, second year A rounds we did for Rangeforce together with US. That's already started in Estonia. Now it's a US company. Our co-investors there are Cisco, Paladin, Energy Impact Partners, then Neural DSP is like the leading, doing super well basically in the music space. We did an A round with 5 million. Then we're in a community in Germany here, where we did a Series A after a seed 2 years later, and we're also investors in Dice, which is basically like Vinted or I think basically a secondhand clothing retailer. I think in the US you have a few of those as well. So and then in the third year we did A rounds to Factory, 7.5 million. Agro round 3.5, and Dice did a venture round of 8.6, also joined by a US hedge fund called Luxor Capital, but there we already didn't participate because it's just too big for us. And then right now in the second half of this year we have 3 companies doing their A rounds, and one of them is also US based, Wolf 3D, which is the metaverse. Basically their product is called Ready Player Me, and they are growing super nicely in creating 3D avatars, but the other 2, Box and Chapilla, are growing super nicely as well. Just to see how the staging works for us. Like we do have write-downs, of course, but the write-downs are hopefully smaller than what is growing, and so we try to add more capital as the companies grow. Our team, sorry Lina, but like as you can see, like it's mostly middle-aged bald men. So we're of course trying to increase the female part of our team too, but it's a very small team. And we all have a little bit different backgrounds still. So it's yeah, and we all do different things and have different hobbies. we have one new team member joining us for the new fund as well, just to keep our ratios. And yeah, I mean, like just too many slides probably, but we've been part of the angel investing community for almost 20 years. So that's where we get our deal flow. Our co-investors have been all around the world, of course, like from the US, people like Tiger Global, Y Combinator, DST Global, UNESCO Ventures, and yeah, but we are really like a very local boutique, and that's how we work. 3,000 cases a year, and we try to narrow them down to 8 investments per annum. And that's our 12 months last 12 months deal flow, so around 4,000, which we've logged in some way or another. And yeah, it's an Estonian fund supervised by the FSA, like I think most of us are. So I think that's probably I'm probably abusing the time here a little bit, Alvar.
A little bit, yes, that's okay.
Sorry.
we have just enough time for Rivo Anton at United Angels. Please go ahead.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Just sharing my screen. Does it work?
Yep.
All right. Yes, hello. My name is Rivo Anton. I'm a founding partner at United Angels VC, and we are currently finishing the fundraise for our second fund. So I'm happy to tell you more. First, about some of our team. So the fund has been founded by myself and Kerry Kodres, and we have entrepreneurial backgrounds. I have been building, prior to the fund, the largest independent management consultancy in Central Eastern Europe. We employ now around 350 of staff in 17 countries. And Kerry used to be a business guy in tech companies, and his last position was vice president in global mobile payment company called Fortumo, which was sold last year to London Stock Exchange listed company Boku. And we've been friends for 20 years. For the past maybe 12 years or so, we did angel investments together, and for the past 4 years, we have been running our first institutional vehicle, which is United Angels Fund 1. We have also 4 other team members supporting us on this journey, and our investment thesis is very founder focused. So we think that actually one of the greatest assets that the funds have in their balance sheets are actually the relationships with the founders, and the founders are an essential source of information, advice, also deal flow, and therefore we are really focusing on building the relationships with the founders. We always try to treat them fairly and build equal partnerships. And what does it mean? We run very lean operations to be fast decision makers, and also we never sneak in with some terms and conditions into investment agreements that the founders do not understand. This approach has served us well. Kerry has been Investor of the Year in Estonia 2 years back. I've been nominated to the same award 2 years in a row. So we believe that the approach has been at least somewhat right. About the performance. So our angel portfolio is almost 10 years old, and it has provided 11 times a return multiplier. Maybe Verif is, and Moniz and Co-Module are the flagships in that portfolio. The Fund 1 portfolio is much younger. We are now in our 4th year, but the portfolio return multiplier is currently 2. But we have learned actually as angel investors that great companies take time to build. So looking forward to increasing the multiplier in coming years. Anyways, the Fund 1 is now finishing its investment period. And as said, we are currently finishing the fundraise for our Fund 2, which is a 45 million dual strategy vehicle. So what does the dual strategy mean? We will continue investing into early stage companies in primary transactions, but we also have reserved 1/3 of the fund for secondary transactions, which we would be doing into companies that are post A round. And we believe that this approach actually provides a good risk and return opportunity. And we're also regionally focused fund, which means that we are mainly doing investments into the Baltics, but also into companies that have been founded by founders from Ukraine and Belarus, but who are incorporating somewhere else, maybe in the Baltics, UK or Delaware. Around 85% of the 45 million is now committed. So we are heading towards our first close, which should happen anytime in the coming 6 to 8 weeks. And yeah, happy to hear from you if you're interested in this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Rivo. I would like to sincerely thank all of you, the speakers today. These were the 8 funds that presented the opportunity today. Obviously, we will share the video recording and all the speakers' email contacts with the participants, with those who made it today online and also those who signed up but unfortunately couldn't make it. If any of you have any questions about doing business in Estonia or the other business opportunities, then obviously feel free to, or I encourage you to reach out to me or Alvar, and we will explain everything that we know and more. But with that, I would like to say good evening to all our Estonian participants and have a great day for those in the US. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We hope everyone has a great day.